Hey there. You want to study for long periods of time, right? And you just want to know how to be more productive for longer periods of time. Don't worry, I've got you. I'm going to explain the techniques that truly changed the game for me. They obviously are going to be somewhat subjective, they won't work for everyone, but they are all completely adaptable, and I will explain the ways you can alter them to fit your needs a little bit more. Either way, I hope you get some sort of benefit out of this video, and I hope these help you study more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to split these tips up into two main sections. So we have actually getting yourself into that productive headspace ready to study, and then maintaining that headspace for long periods of time. This is something I mentioned in a very early video: romanticize studying. This is the most helpful thing you could possibly do to make yourself want to study more, is literally to treat studying as a really fun, novel activity. To romanticize something literally just means to make it sound and appear more appealing than it actually is. On a fundamental level, literally just referring to studying and getting work done as a more exciting time will make it more exciting. You're gonna want to do it more because in your head you've now perceived it as this more enjoyable experience than just complaining about it before you even begin. You can actually now use specific tactics to make the session more enjoyable. This will help in the long term because you'll be more excited in the future to study again. A classic example that I really enjoy doing: I don't usually get drinks when I'm out, but I'll always treat myself to a hot chocolate or a chai latte on days where I'm studying, just to get me through. So now, in the morning, I'm excited to go to the library because I know I'm gonna grab one of my favorite drinks on the way there. And again, for example, in my Notion video, I talk about how creating aesthetic note systems makes me more excited to make more notes. Maybe this isn't for everyone and you couldn't care less about how your notes look, but I do suggest trying it. Just incorporating more colors, more exciting visual systems for you will make it more exciting to learn more and create more of that. We as humans respond well to beauty and aesthetic things, so I promise you this is going to have an impact on your motivation. And just run over a few more examples: listening to good music either on your way or during studying, studying with friends. This doesn't always work for everyone, you may just get distracted, but if you're both needing to get a lot of work done, you can very feasibly just sit next to each other, get your work done, and then chat on your breaks. And this is just another good way to make this more enjoyable, and then you guys can go get food after. Leading on from that, I treat going to the library, which is where I always study, as a social excursion. I don't treat it as a chore or as something I have to do. I treat it as a fun activity. With this comes dressing up and feeling confident. This does not matter your gender identity or expression. Anything that you can do to make yourself feel more confident and excited to go out will improve your productivity. For example, for me, when I put on an exciting outfit that I really like, I do my makeup, I do my hair, not only am I really ready to then go out, but you may relate to this, you want to be out for a long period of time so that everyone possible can see how you look. So for me, I wouldn't then want to go to the library for a single hour because that's such a waste of the makeup I just did. So instead, you really want to spend your time there, make the most of it, and just generally, I now get more excited to go to the library. And quite frankly, you can just view the library as a place where gorgeous, gorgeous girls get work done. And listen, when you get there as well, then getting into that productive headspace, you throw your coat over your chair, I pull up my Notion, I put down my hot chocolate, I put my earphones in, and I just feel so motivated, energized, ready to go. These are such simple things, but we respond to these so well, and they really put us into a more positive headspace. If you are feeling positive, you are more likely to get work done, as opposed to if you're negative, you're feeling down, your brain's not going to want to cooperate with you and get work done. It's very difficult, especially if you are living in a studio or a small living space, to be in a working headspace in the same place you also relax. I can never get work done at home, and I know that, so I will commute to the library. That walk is slowly shifting my headspace, setting the tone for the rest of the day that I'm now moving to a productive area. Okay, so you're in your study setting, you're feeling pumped, ready to study. But now, how do you extend that productivity and maintain it for numerous hours? Firstly, something I have mentioned several times before, and I'm going to keep mentioning it because it works. The Pomodoro method is, quite frankly, amazing for getting work done. The traditional Pomodoro structure is 25 minutes working, 5 minutes rest, 4 times, then you have a longer break. But this is completely adaptable, and I usually do adapt it. For a lot of people, 25 minutes is kind of too short. Once you get into a workflow, you're on a roll and then the timer cuts off, throws you off. And the reason I think this method is so good is not only that it breaks up your study sessions into manageable sections and rewards you with breaks, but over time, you don't even need that sort of middleman. You just enter the library, you're in the productive workspace, you do work. And also, for the record, this really helps with preventing yourself from getting distracted and going on your phone, going on Netflix. For example, if I'm studying and I'm looking at my phone and thinking, I'd kind of like to scroll on Instagram for a bit, I look at my timer and I have 8 minutes, 20 minutes left. I will instead put the phone away, continue working, because in a certain amount of time, I know I'll have a set break to scroll through Instagram, and an added benefit of waiting is that I won't feel guilty. And so moving on from that, let's take a bit more of a psychological approach and talk about conditioning. I have a cue or a stimulus. For me, that is entering the library, sitting down in the library. Okay, it's just the library. Then I have my routine, my response, which is doing work. Now, this isn't abstract. As I've mentioned in a previous video, I always timetable out my day, so I know what the work is I need to get done. So the routine is doing that work. With the help of the Pomodoro timer, I get it done. And then you have the reward. You can have a reward during, after, or both. For me, I kind of like to have 2, so one of them could be your hot chocolate, right? And then the second reward for me is watching a YouTube video that I really want to watch that day. I don't allow myself to watch it until I have finished the routine. You will find over time, this loop becomes really easy to maintain, and it will come to the point where it's pretty automatic and implicit. I don't think about the fact that I'm rewarding myself. I just enter the library, that's my cue, I'm feeling productive. I sit down, I get out my work, I do my work. And then I treat myself to something afterwards. And if for you find that at the beginning that cue of going to the library isn't enough to get you motivated, you can use the tips I mentioned. That is using the Pomodoro timer just to jumpstart your work. And over time, what you will find is that you don't need to use that Pomodoro timer all the time, because just sitting in the library, you've now conditioned your brain from all these study sessions to immediately start working. And then you'll just work. Leading on from that, the importance of taking breaks. I always need to mention it in literally every video. I'm able to do such long study sessions literally because I know that whilst it's 6 hours of pure studying, that's only 6 hours out of my 24-hour day. The remaining hours are for whatever I want to do. And then it's so much easier to repeat the whole process the next day because I'm feeling refreshed, I'm feeling relaxed. It was enjoyable, I got a lot of work done and still had time for me. Don't try and do all your work in one day or do a 10-hour study session. If you try and do so much work every single day, you're going to burn out, it's not going to be enjoyable anymore, and you're going to be back to square one. What you will find is that over time, because of this healthy allocation of work, every now and then it is very easy for you to extend that study process to more like 8-10 hours if you need to, because you aren't so susceptible to burnout and perceiving this study session as miserable and never ending. Those are just a few of my tips. We want to be romanticizing studying, treating it as a fun activity, an excursion, a way to dress up, feel good about ourselves, and get things done. From there, we're then going to use more study-specific methods like the Pomodoro timer. From there, that sections off our work into manageable sections so that realistically we're actually going to get all our work done, which will improve our mood even more. We can also then over time notice that we're more conditioned in that study setting to get work done regardless of if we're using that timer. And because we're taking breaks every single day, this will be really healthy for us. We'll find it easy to do this day in, day out, and we're just going to feel so great at the end of the day having done work and still have time to go out for dinner with friends. With that being said, thank you so much for sticking through this video and watching. Have a lovely rest of your day and happy studying.